So we've got a very experienced board and management team that have worked together for quite an extended period of time. Most recently, we worked together on the Weshar Copper Project, which was a sulphide heap leach operation in a very, very remote location in Indonesia, which took more than a day to travel to. Now that was a sulphide heap leach, which is very unusual, and so we were able to refine our IP. And that was a 20,000 tonnes per annum nameplate, which produced an EBITDA of $20 million per quarter. So it's a very sweet operation. So Nifty Copper Mine. So we acquired that in the first quarter of this year, and we want to restart that back into an oxide heap leach operation. We've recently upgraded the resource, so there's more than 700,000 tonnes contained copper in that. And it's got an extensive mineral resource, both sulphide and oxide. So we'll start with the 135,000 tonnes of oxide mineral resource. But we've also got some existing heap leach pads which have historically been treated and have still got 17 million tonnes at 0.5%. So the combination of those two for the first 10 years of mine life at 20,000 tonnes per annum, and then we'll get into the sulphides, which will enable us to continue for a further 20 years plus. So it's looking a 30-year plus mine life. It's pretty substantial. So with Nifty, we've been, since we acquired it at the end of the first quarter of 2021, been pretty busy up there. So we've been basically doing a site cleanup. It's been on care and maintenance since November 2019. We've been doing drilling activities for infill and extensional drilling of the copper resource. We've been conducting surveys, engaging with traditional owners, with the government. We've been building out our management team, so we're really happy with our management team and how that's developed. Everyone thinks it's quite a challenging market in which to operate from a labour point of view, but we've actually found that a lot of people want to come and be part of the journey that we're on, which is really great. And we've currently got more than 100 people as contractors and full-time employees on site. Okay. So the focus for this quarter is to continue with our restart plans, which are nearing completion, and then engage with financiers so we get this up and running. So just a quick overview of the Nifty mine site. So you can see to the west and the east of the existing open pit, that's where we've been focusing our drilling activities for infill and extensional drilling. So you can see the 17 million tonnes of heap leach, which has historically been treated. So that's going to be relocated to the south. And then what we'll do with the open pit, once we get into mining there, we'll actually stack where the existing heap leach is. And you can see there the SXEW plant, that's where the SX plant is, and also the gas turbine power generating facilities, they're going to stay in place. And the EW plant, that's going to be moved pretty close to where it currently is, but that's going to be upgraded, and we're going to introduce more modern technology, and it's going to be reconfigured as well. So the Nifty resource, we've recently published an updated mineral resource earlier this month. So it's over 730,000 tonnes of contained copper. And we're also, you can see there the schematics, so it's a pretty substantial copper resource in which we want to develop and keep going. We've also been conducting metallurgical test work on the existing heap leach pads. So you can see there's a 6 metre column which we've been doing test work, and the objective there with the metallurgical test work is to firm up the operating parameters that we will be implementing in the field, which will steepen up the leach recovery curves and also minimise the operating costs. You can also see there that we've been doing sonic drilling, which you're able to extract a rather complete sample of what's currently in the heaps, and as you can see there's some nice green rocks in there, and that's because it's such a complete sample, that's going to be perfect for doing further metallurgical test work. So our timeline, so as you can see, we've been pretty busy getting to where we are at present. The focus is to continue on and finish off our restart studies and then get into the engagement with financiers, which leads into next year where we're going to be focused on into refurbishment, construction. That'll lead into commissioning towards the end of the year. And that'll be quite a rapid commissioning phase because what you do is you actually progressively fill your cells within the EW plant until you reach capacity, and then you're into steady state operations. So we'll just talk a little bit more about some of our other advanced stage copper development projects. So we've got the Murchison Copper Project, which is actually two separate deposits. They're very complementary towards each other because the Hollandair deposit, which was the first deposit that we introduced into our company, is 50,000 tonnes of contained copper. It's a sulphide deposit, but it's also high grade. So, and we've done metallurgical test work in the lab and we've produced copper metal plate. Now that'll generate acid which we can then use in order to treat the oxides. So it's a very complementary deposit. They fit really nicely together. They're truckable distances within each other, and so you only need one SXEW plant in order to operate and produce, again, copper metal cathode on site. So Nandee Well, we call it a bit of a sleeper. It's a very broad deposit, very consistently mineralised. Extends 750 metres. We're continuing on with our drilling, and it's been very consistent. It's very shallow. You can see there that in some of those results that are up there, it's from 2 to 4 metres in some parts. It's got a nice oxide supergene blanket over the top, which again will use the acid that's generated from Hollandair in order to initially treat, generate the cathode, and then get into the sulfides. So it's also worth noting that Nandee Well is currently not included in our mineral resources because it's historically it's a 2004 JORC compliant resource of 150,000 tonnes, and it's also got 75,000 ounces of gold, which after we treat with in the heap leach and extract the copper, you can actually put that through a mill as well, so we'll still get the value of the gold that's sitting in there in the deposit. So Maroochydore, that was acquired as part of the Patterson copper assets that we acquired earlier this year. That's a very extensive and sizable deposit. It's 400,000 tonnes of oxide deposit and 90,000 tonnes of sulfides, which has only been lightly drilled. It's only been drilled very shallow depths as well, so it's basically open in pretty much all directions. Now, in a recent site visit, Barry Cahill and an analyst from Euros Hartley's, Argonaut, they actually visited the site, and he said that he had to sit down and just sit there and observe and take it in, because this deposit is over 3 kilometres long and over 850 metres wide, and it's shallow and open. And the other thing to note about the deposit, it's in the same formation as the Broadhurst Formation, which is the Nifty deposit, so it's very similar mineralogy. So with our IP that we have in our company, we're pretty confident that we can crack the mineralogy, and basically it's going to be a race between this deposit and between the Murchison as to which is our next development project. Okay, and we've also got an extensive package of exploration tenements that are in the Patterson province. As you would know, there's a lot of activity in the Patterson region at the moment. It's one of the hottest regions to be in from the mining front. And so you see all that blue area around our tenements, that's all part of the IGO earning. So they have to spend $32 million over 6.5 years in order to earn in a 70% interest in a joint venture, and then we're free carry to a pre-feasibility study. So the minimum spend there is $11 million. And I have to say that working with IGO has actually been a pleasure. They've been very, very good to work with. They're investing a lot in the area and using all sorts of different techniques in order to identify the next deposit. So that's a summary of all our mineral resources. And again, what that excludes, that's approximately 1.3 million tonnes of contained copper. It's all shallow, which is great for us. It's not covered by hundreds of metres of cover. And that excludes the heap leach pads, which are currently sitting at Nifty, which is 17 million tonnes at 0.5%, and it excludes Nandini Well, which is the historic JORC resource of 2004. So anyway, that's in summary, a nutshell of where we're at Cyprium Metals. So over the last 2.5 years, we've grown from nil mineral resources in Australia to 1.3 million tonnes of contained copper. We're still looking to expand and grow that, and that is happening. You might have heard that quite passionate, I guess, about heap leach and producing copper metal plate on site. So if you speak to anyone at Cyprium Metals, you'll find out that we're all copper bulls. We love copper, and we love producing copper metal on site. It has a number of advantages in that it generally has lower operating costs. You can sell it in liquid markets. You can realise it 90% pretty much straight up on production. It's a closed circuit. So yeah, we're looking forward to getting our development plans underway at Nifty and to start producing copper metal plate and then go on to our next project. Anyway, thank you very much for your time. Hope you found it very informative. Cheers.